Lucy Sims leaves the Tuscany Tavern after another day at work.
Not again.
Lucy pulls over and then gets out of her car to deal with the police officer that was following her.
What do you want?
Didn't you notice the broken tail light on your car? That's very neglectful of you.
What? But it was broken last week and I got it replaced. How did it get broken so soon again?
I don't give a damn about your excuses. I'm writing you a ticket.
You look like you want to beat someone. What happened? I got pulled over again by a cop over a busted tail light. The last time I got that sort of ticket, it cost me $300. And I had to pay an additional $400 to replace the light. Oh God, so they make you pay the fine even if you repair the light? That's not fair. Yeah, and I don't think it's a coincidence that a cop started following me right after I left the restaurant. Now what?
Hello, is this Lucy Sims?
Yes. Who is this?
This is Officer Teddy Root at the police station. Did you get a ticket from Officer Mark Raymond over a broken tail light?
Yes. And I am furious over it.
As you should be. I heard Mark bragging about it to the police chief. And he was the one who broke the tail light to begin with.
He did? Why?
Because the police chief and his father the mayor want to run you and your family out of town. The mayor himself referred to you as those liberal atheist bitches from up north. They are deliberately targeting you.
Do you have proof of this? I will need it to fight the ticket I just got in court.
Yes. I will bring you that proof. Officer Teddy arrives at the Sims home an hour later. I used an app on my cell phone to record part of my conversation with Officer Mark, Police Chief George Anderson, and his father, Mayor Ted Anderson. They all want to get rid of you. I just loved seeing the look on that bitch's face as I gave her that ticket. Ha ha ha. That's how you oppress them. Hit them in the pocketbook. The less money those invaders have, the less they can threaten us. Eventually, I hope they will do the smart thing and leave town. We never wanted them here. You can only break her tail light so many times before she figures us out. We'd better find a new strategy. I'm already making plans to target the other lesbian bitches next. I could leave a nail right behind a tire on several of their cars to make them even more miserable. You want to risk our department being sued over this? They would need proof we are doing the attacks. And they won't have it if we play our cards right.
This is outrageous. We must stop this.
Maybe I'm weird, but I'm one of those people that thinks all people should be treated with respect, regardless of where they come from or what they are. I am myself an immigrant, being born in Ireland. And I'm Jewish.
They spoke of targeting other lesbian bitches. They must mean not only me, but Carrie and Debbie too.
Mother Lucy, I may not be a lesbian bitch, but I am still your daughter, so when you were targeted, they heard me too.
I'm going to make some phone calls. We need help. So that's the situation, Sandy. Could you please come back to town and defend us? From what you have told me, we need to not only fight a ticket, but we need to get the mayor and the police chief replaced. They can't be allowed to get away with such abuses of their positions. I will return to town as soon as I can to help you. Steve, I think I need to leave Tulsa, and you, to deal with the situation in the town. My friends, and perhaps my daughter too, are being threatened.
I understand. Do what you must. I will stay here and wait for you.
Steve, I don't know if I will be coming back soon. I didn't have my driver's license changed yet when I moved in with you, so legally I still live in that town in Texas. And I am thinking of running for mayor of the town. Someone has to stand up to the corruption there and stop it.
Well, if anyone is fit to run that town, it would be you. So I will agree to a separation. And good luck.
Again, I owe you.
Don't worry about me. Just go back there and kick those jerks on their asses. They pissed off the wrong people.
Welcome back, Mother. I assume you want your old bedroom back, so Carrie and I will remove our stuff from it immediately. We will resume staying at the Sims house. Thank you. All of us need to gather at a place so we can discuss the issues we are facing.
And several hours later, there's a meeting held at the Tuscany Tavern after the restaurant closes for the night.
Okay, let's talk about the issues. First, I have something to give Lucy.
A check for $10,000 from Steve Mueller.
Yes, to pay for your ticket and to replace your busted tail light.
Actually, Eric Sterling already replaced it. At no charge, after I told him why it was busted again. Speaking of which, Eric and Bella, thanks for agreeing to watch the parking lot for us. Just make sure our cars remain safe during the meeting.
We promise, we will watch your cars like a hawk.
Eric, if someone approaches the cars, we would normally call the police. But the police are the ones that might damage the cars. So what do we do?
Even cops are not above the law, Bella. If they were, laws would have no meaning at all. We have a right to defend our property and those of our friends against anyone that wants to harm it. Even cops.
Hey, is there room for one more here? I wouldn't mind doing guard duty here too. Steve sent me to attend the meeting and report back to him.
Thanks, Jack. Bella, come inside. Eric and Jack can watch the cars. I actually don't think it would be a good idea to present the evidence we have against the mayor and the police chief in court. If we did that, we'd get the ticket dismissed, but then the police chief would retaliate by firing Officer Root. And we need a good cop to stay at his job to watch the corrupt ones. That's why Steve and I gave Lucy that money.
So what are we going to do? We can't just let them attack us like this.
Last month I suddenly got a flat tire on a tire that was only a few weeks old. Now I wonder if that was a result of sabotage. A nail was indeed stuck in it.
It's possible. The new police chief was appointed just over a month ago.
I really don't understand why people who claim to be upholders of morals and religion would do things most of us would normally consider evil.
It's the same old excuse. The ends justify the means. They want to punish us for not believing in God and having standards based on people rather than God. Even the Nazis and the communists, as terrible as most of their acts were, deluded themselves into thinking they were doing good when they were killing people, invading other countries, and violating human rights. But evil is evil, no matter what form it takes and what the excuse is for doing it. Vicky, before you came to this town, the church we belonged to was a Baptist church led by the Reverend Dave Owen. The church fired him as their minister, and then it became Unitarian Universalist instead. And Reverend Owen retaliated by having the church burned to the ground.
To the end of my life, I will never understand why anyone would do such crazy shit.
So what are we going to do instead? I'm going to run for mayor of the town. The mayor's election is in 8 months, so we can start a campaign next week and hope we can make some changes. This town badly needs them. Sandy has already appointed me to be her campaign manager. We just need a platform.
Why not just run as a Democrat? That seems obvious.
People will be expecting Mother Sandy to speak on issues specific to this town. Merely having a party label is not enough. My biggest issue will be to stamp out corruption and abuse in the town's government. We need to make sure all citizens of the town are treated as equals, no matter their background, their appearance, or their beliefs. That's the whole idea behind the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution.
Well, you have my vote already, Mrs. Smith. I would love to see you at the next mayor.
Whitney, this is where you will do most of the work for my campaign. You will take phone calls and answer questions from members of the public. Okay, but this list you gave me doesn't mention police misconduct or religious bigotry, the issues we discussed at the Tuscany Tavern. Instead it has road repairs, taxes, waterworks. Sadly, Most people are not concerned about police brutality or other misconduct unless and until it happens to them. Instead, they say, if those people would just obey the cops, they wouldn't get beaten or shot. As if ending up in hospital or even dead is a natural penalty for disrespecting a cop. But we need to talk about more practical matters that everyone can relate to. Like potholes. Potholes. Yes. I will explain at the conference room. Ever since Mayor Anderson took office, he has cut sales taxes in the town to make it more business-friendly, but those tax cuts have come at a cost. Increasing numbers of potholes have appeared in roads in and around the town, and these can cause damage to cars, including flat tires. And replacing tires costs money, so if you need new tires every few months, that means you are not saving that much money due to lower taxes.
You are right. At the auto shop I work at, my boss told me that requests for new tires there have gone up tenfold every month compared to a decade ago. He himself needed a new tire about 5 months ago after he ran over a pothole, which had bits of glass in it. I had a patient last month who complained about getting whiplash from hitting potholes.
I grew up in this town, and as a child I saw almost no potholes on the roads. Now they are everywhere.
But I am even more concerned about the town's water supply. I can't stand the taste of the tap water anymore. It tastes and smells like it is polluted. I have to drink bottled water, which costs me more money. If that's true of me, it must be true of most others.
Oh, shit. We have been using tap water to wash the dishes at my restaurant and even at my home. Could we be endangering our customers as well as ourselves?
Well, obviously, people getting sick from improperly treated water would cause healthcare costs to skyrocket and make my job a lot harder. I had to resign as president of my local church because I no longer had free time to serve that position. Instead, I've been working 6 or even 7 days a week lately dealing with sick patients from drinking tap water, including people who can't even afford bottled water, but they get sick and then they must get treatment at my hospital, which bankrupts them completely. Then they yell at me for charging them money they do not have. But the hospital has to make money too.
And Mayor Anderson never addresses these issues. He just ignores them. As long as the businesses are making plenty of money, he does not care. But this town is made of people and the people's welfare is what matters, not just a few business owners making more money than in the past.
Mayor Anderson's biggest supporters are gun owners. At the last election, he blasted his opponent for supporting gun control, claiming this was against the Second Amendment. That's why he won. No one wants to elect someone who might take away our right to bear arms that is clearly stated in the Constitution.
My husband Steve and I had a long talk about that issue after we got married. He is himself a gun owner and like many others mistakenly thought gun control was the same as gun confiscation. I explained to him that a peaceful, law-abiding citizen never has anything to fear from legitimate gun control. I mean, we already have car control in Texas, where people must have a license issued by the state to drive a car, and must also have auto insurance. Gun control would be much the same, but no one screams about the people needing a right to drive cars. These are all good points. I will write them down and make documents out of them and then we can put out flyers with these points. People need to understand all these issues.
So that's what happened. A couple of cop cars that passed by the place, but nothing dramatic happened, at least outside.
Thanks, Jack. Oh no.
Steve, I heard your wife already walked out on you and returned to her tiny little town. I am so sorry. Not. Ha ha ha.
My issues with Sandy are none of your damn business, Diana. Now you have invaded my place of business. That's it. Jack, take care of this pest. She is permanently banned from here.
Get out.
How dare you lay a hand on me, you beast. I will sue.
For doing my job. I am a bouncer, after all.
We can sue you in turn for trespassing. Do not come here again. This is your only warning. And don't be spreading rumors about me and Sandy either. Worry about your own marriage.
That's the 15th Street corner we have stuck flyers on to announce my mother's campaign for mayor. I think that's enough for today.
You want to stop by the Tuscany Tavern and eat a meal there?
We work there. Don't you get tired of that food?
Not really, but if you don't mind paying more instead of having the employee discount at our restaurant, that's fine. And look, can that really be?
Why, hello there, Penny. Long time no see. And who is this you are with? I guess you must be really lonely to be hooking up with that wimp.
Ted Wilson, what are you doing here? And why are you dressed like a cop?
Obviously because I am one. I was hired to join the police force this week.
How? Don't you have a criminal record after what you did to Carrie?
I did, but it was expunged after I was released from juvenile hall, since my assault was done when I was a minor. So it's like I did nothing criminal at all. And my father is a friend of the mayor, so he persuaded the mayor and the police chief to give me a job. And maybe you and the others should stop putting out those flyers about your mother running for mayor. She doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell of getting elected. And I've been tearing down your flyers anyway.
You asshole. That's a violation of our First Amendment rights.
Ha ha ha. What are you going to do about it? Punch me? That would be assaulting a cop. And I'd be more than happy to throw your ass in jail for that. Come on, you wimp. I dare you.
Stop it, Ted. Just leave us alone and we will be on our way.
Penny, don't be a fool. This little guy can't protect you. A big guy like me would be better for you. I can.
I don't care if you have a cop's uniform. I've been wanting revenge on you for years.
You know you will be arrested and jailed for that, right?
Better me than you, James. You and Penny get out of here. I will stay here and let the other cops take me away. This way you two will be safe. And I'm really not done making that asshole suffer. The more I beat him, the better I will feel, even after I am locked up. So you just left Carrie there?
That's what she told us to do, Mrs. Sims. She attacked Ted Wilson because he was trying to pick a fight with me, a fight I would have lost even if he hadn't been a cop.
James and I were shocked at how brutal Carrie was. Ted tried to fight back, but that only made Carrie beat and kick him harder until he was on the ground begging her to stop. And she wouldn't until he was out cold.
That's going to be of little comfort with Carrie being jailed for what she did. It's Carrie. Mother Jessica, I've been arrested and put in jail. I know. James and Penny were just telling me what happened. Why did you have to take on Ted Wilson again? Especially now that he is a cop. You could go to prison. I'll do whatever I have to in order to protect the ones I care for. Thankfully I haven't been beaten and I can get 3 meals a day here, so I am in no hurry to leave. Oh, Debbie wants to talk to you. Thank you for protecting my little brother. I will call my mother and ask her to try to bail you out and to represent you at your trial. Thanks. I just hope that doesn't mess up her campaign to become the next mayor of this town. I am here to see Carrie Sims. Please take me to her cell.
All right, but I have made a motion to have her remanded without bail, so I will accept no bail offer from you or anyone else. Mrs. Smith. Or should I call you Mrs. Miller now?
Mrs. Smith will do. And why are you and other officers wearing those red hats? You must know those are to today what the pointed white hoods were to our ancestors a century ago.
You are comparing us patriotic Americans to the Ku Klux Klan?
It is common knowledge that the slogan "Make America Great Again" was based on the absurdity that America stopped being great when a black man, Barack Obama, became president. That is nonsense. Black people are not inferior because of their skin color and the presidency, and America itself was not degraded by Obama. You white supremacists need to grow up and fade away for good. I'm sorry, Carrie, but it looks like you will be here for a while. I know, and I am not worried about it. We need to talk about how I am going to defend you at your trial. Well, as a matter of honesty, shouldn't I just plead guilty? Absolutely not. If they have a case against you, make them provide it in court. You will be presumed innocent until proven guilty. and I will give details of your previous dealings with Ted Wilson so the jury will know what kind of person he is. And I am hoping the jury will actually vote to acquit you once they know the whole truth about both you and Ted Wilson. This is known as jury nullification and is the whole reason why trials by jury were established to begin with. If people think your crime was actually justified, they won't send you to prison. I hope you were right, Mother Sandy. I will follow your advice.
I can't believe that Ted Wilson was made a cop. He is a criminal. First he sexually assaulted my niece Penny, then he physically assaulted Carrie with a baseball bat. No one like that should be involved in law enforcement.
Well, he's now in hospital after Carrie gave him a beating. But according to James, Ted was harassing him and Penny when they were together. Carrie was defending them as well as avenging herself.
I was highly critical of Carrie taking matters into her own hands when she avenged Penny the first time. But secretly, I admired her. If more kids took action like she did, there would be a lot less bullying in schools. And as for this most recent incident, I only regret I wasn't the one who beat that bastard up. If you want me as a witness at Carrie's trial, I'm down for it. Just let me know when to show up.
Thank you. I have others to talk to here. Have fun at class. Whitney, what's wrong? Why are you crying? I just got an email from my youngest brother, the only one of the Owen family still talking to me. My grandfather is dead. Oh no. I am sorry. My parents are furious at me. My grandfather committed suicide by putting a gun to his head, and they say I drove him to do it because of what I said to him just before he was released from prison. Whitney, come walk with me. Let's talk this out. Whitney, it is perfectly natural and normal to grieve for your grandfather. He was a terrible man in many ways, but I know on some level you still loved him and he must have loved you. So I will allow you to go home after this talk. Thank you. Just remember that every person is responsible for their own choices and never the choices of others. Your grandfather could have chosen to learn from what you said to him and changed his ways. Instead, he took another way out that only hurt others. When people make choices, passing the blame to anyone else is dishonest. So don't accept the blame for someone else, ever. Thank you, Sandy. I said this before, but you somehow seem more like a mother to me than the one who gave birth to me. I love you. I think maybe that's why I was interested in James for a while. Because I wanted to be part of a more loving family, a Smith rather than an Owen. Well, Smith is actually a very common name. It comes from the profession called blacksmith, involving working with metals, and every community had at least one blacksmith. And there is nothing wrong with the name Owen, really. You can redeem it. And you have all the love you need within yourself and with me, Debbie, Carrie, and others already. You don't need James as a romantic partner for that. He and Penny seem to be doing well together, so I am happy with how things are turning out.
Mother, look what I got in the mail today.
An offer of a scholarship to Harvard. This is wonderful. Harvard is one of the most prestigious universities in the whole world.
I know and I want to go, but there is a problem.
What is it?
While you were away in Tulsa with Mr. Miller, Penny actually proposed to me. She even said she wanted us to elope and go live somewhere else after we turn 18. So if I go away to Harvard, I'd have to take Penny with me. Or go alone and break her heart.
Why would she want to rush into marriage with you? You two have only been dating a few months.
I guess because she wants to follow the example of Debbie and Carrie, who married while they were still in high school, and Bella and Eric, who married right out of high school. They seem to be doing well.
Every couple is unique, James. Some couples may date for several years and never get married, some may marry after 1 or 2 years, and many don't even last 1 year. If Penny is really devoted to you, She would be willing to wait until you get your college degree and then a high-paying job to support a family before marrying you. Debbie, Carrie, Eric, and Bella never had plans to attend college, so they got married early. That's not right for you.
I know. And I just remembered some advice Father gave me. When you get older, you may find difficulties in your own relationships. You shouldn't expect to marry and spend the rest of your life with your first girlfriend. At the time, I thought he was just making excuses for his cheating on you. But it seems he was right after all. So, what am I going to do about Penny?
Just tell her the truth, James. You are going to college to make a better life for yourself. You are not ready for marriage anytime soon, and so either she changes to adapt to your needs, or you two must break up. That choice is hers. Why have I been brought here? Who are you?
I am the district attorney for this town, and I'm here to make you an offer.
What sort of offer?
You are facing very serious criminal charges that could put you in prison for several years. Assault of a police officer, inflicting grievous bodily harm, disturbing the peace, disorderly conduct. But I could drop all the other charges and keep only assaulting a police officer, and if you plead guilty to that, you would only spend 1 year in jail and be fined $10,000.
Sorry, but my attorney is not here to advise me, and until she arrives, I will say nothing more. You think your offer is generous? You should be conducting an inquiry as to why Ted Wilson was hired to be a cop so soon after being released from juvenile hall. That seems a little strange to me. Also, I have something to show you. A witness came forward with this video footage he took with his cell phone. It clearly shows Ted Wilson threatening my son James in an unprofessional manner right before Carrie attacked him. So I will argue that Carrie was defending James. Then I will submit evidence and testimony regarding Ted Wilson's past bad acts, including his assaulting people in school. I'm sure once a jury hears all of what I have to offer, they will not want to give Carrie any prison time.
Don't be too sure about that, Mrs. Smith. Most public citizens take a very dim view of people who assault cops.
They take an even dimmer view of big boys who assault little girls. Now leave me alone with my client. Thanks for bringing that footage. Who gave that to you? The owner of the store near where the incident occurred. He told me that once he saw Ted Wilson in a police uniform, he knew there would be trouble. It seems Ted assaulted his daughter too.
So whose lame idea was it to hire a person newly released from confinement to serve in law enforcement? That's absurd.
We lost quite a few cops over the past few months, so we were hiring replacements. Ted Wilson had a clean record after serving his time, so he...
That doesn't matter, you idiot. Ted Wilson's crimes are still a matter of common knowledge in this town, obviously. Do you want me to become a laughingstock once this gets to trial and everything about this case goes public?
So what are you going to do?
I'm going to have to drop all the charges against Carrie Sims rather than risk this blowing up in all our faces in court. And you should terminate Ted Wilson's employment as a police officer and not do something like that again. I took one look on social media today and virtually everyone and his mother in this town are outraged about Carrie being locked up and Ted Wilson being on the police force. You messed up. Carrie, I have great news. You are free to go.
What? Why?
Your mother-in-law not only insisted you go to trial, she actually sent the details of Ted Wilson's past history with you and Penny Bentley to the press. The website of a newspaper in Dallas just published an article about the matter, and it is literally the talk of the town. So now all charges against you have been dismissed. Congratulations.
Justice. Mother Sandy, it seems I owe you an unpayable debt for defending me. Thank you. It was just my job as your attorney. Excuse me.
Sandy, want to go on a date? We can meet up at the Tuscany Tavern. Your meal is on me.
Sure. See you there in about half an hour.
It's obvious to me why they dropped those charges against Carrie. They want to limit your public exposure since you are running for mayor. Don't think they were being generous at all. Sooner or later, they will pull some other stunt against you, I'm sure.
I actually hope they do something else against me. Whatever they do, it will only backfire on them.
Mr. Miller, I took most of the money you gave me to install a security system for the restaurant, including a silent alarm and several security cameras. There is one viewing you and Sandy now.
Good. This restaurant is your greatest asset. You must do all you can to protect it.
Having suffered a humiliating defeat, Police Chief George Anderson comes up with a new plan.
That restaurant owned by Lucy Sims is what she and her wife Jessica and their daughters depend on for income. If we destroyed the restaurant, they would likely have no choice but to leave the town.
Right? Plus it would punish anyone foolish enough to work for that atheist lesbian bitch. I can get tools to force the front door open and then we can start a fire in the kitchen.
Good. And they will bring gasoline to pour at various places to act as a chemical accelerant to make the whole place burn down faster.
Thanks for letting me use your wife's flower shop as a place to distribute flyers for my campaign, Mr. Hernandez.
No problem. I read what you proposed about increasing the funding for the town's schools, and it looks exactly like what we need. I was disturbed about my school having to cut teachers' pay, causing some teachers to either quit or take a second job to make ends meet. That's never acceptable. If teachers are not being paid a living wage, the well-being of our children is at risk. And Mayor Anderson has ignored my complaints about. Oh, speak of the devil. Carlos Hernandez. I can't believe you are giving support to this communist to be our mayor. What communist? How is supporting adequate funding for our schools communism? If she gets elected mayor, she will cause taxes to skyrocket. Businesses will be less profitable and people will lose jobs.
You are very good at using buzzwords to inflame the public discourse and misrepresent the issues. Did you learn that shit from Joseph Goebbels? Mr. Hernandez, as a person of color, aren't you offended by our mayor going out in public with such an obvious symbol of racism on his head?
Indeed, I find such things to be highly divisive. He also has a Confederate flag as a bumper sticker on his car. Clearly he doesn't represent all the citizens of this town. Texas was part of the Confederacy, so that flag is part of our heritage. Likewise, Texas was part of Mexico, and thus the Mexican flag is also part of our heritage. Maybe I should put that flag on my car? Though I did not come from Mexico. I was born in Austin. We should be Americans first and foremost. Trigger warning, this episode depicts acts of extreme violence.
The Tuscany Tavern should be closed by now.
How long do you think it will take for the restaurant to clear out completely?
Probably an hour. And there's the owner. She is locking the door.
The cops continue to wait until Lucy has been gone for about half an hour, then they approach the restaurant.
Okay, use the tools you have to open the door. And we need to be quick about this.
Unknown to the cops, Lucy installed a security system, including a silent alarm and cameras. As a result,
Jessica. Someone is breaking into the restaurant. I just got a notice on my phone.
Just as you feared would happen. I will wake up the others. You go out and start our car.
Now that we have poured gasoline all over the floors, time to start the fire here.
Police Chief Anderson then dumps the last of the gasoline on the stove and turns it on. As a result,
Let's get out of here.
but just as they are leaving,
What are you doing here?
We got a notice that someone was breaking into the restaurant.
Right. And that someone was clearly you. And is that smoke I smell? Did you start a fire in there? The rest of you use their own handcuffs on them. I will go in and stop the fire. Jessica, call the fire department.
You were right, Mrs. Sims. There was gasoline all over the place. This was clearly a case of attempted arson. Had you and the others not arrived so quickly, within an hour the restaurant would have been destroyed. As it stands, only the kitchen suffered minor damage. Repairs may take only a couple of days.
Thank you.
How can you do this to me? Look at what they did to me. And I am your boss, Officer Root.
Not anymore. You stopped being my boss the moment you decided to break the law rather than enforce it. So I and the Sims family will take you and Officer Mark Raymond down to the police station to be booked and jailed like any other criminal.
I can't believe this is happening. Such corruption might have been expected a century ago in some backwoods southern town, but this is in the 21st century. We need to make an example of these bastards.
Hello, this is Jason Laker reporting for the National News Network. A shocking report has come from a small town in East Texas, where I used to live. The town's police chief and one of his junior officers were arrested last night after they were caught in an act of arson at a local restaurant, the Tuscany Tavern. And this is Lucy Sims, the owner of the restaurant. Mrs. Sims, please tell us what happened.
Well, several weeks ago, I got a ticket over a busted tail light, and I didn't know how the tail light got broken. I replaced it, only to have it broken again and again. A cop gave me a ticket. Then another cop came to me and told me the broken tail lights were acts of vandalism by cops themselves. I was being harassed. The good cop even showed me evidence that the police chief and the mayor were involved. They are father and son, by the way.
I see. So what happened next?
I had installed a security system at the restaurant. One night after the restaurant was closed, its silent alarm was triggered and I got a notice on my cell phone. So I, my wife, our daughters and our daughter-in-law rushed over to the restaurant where we found two cops, including the police chief. We fought to stop them from escaping and I went in to put out a fire that had just been started in the kitchen. And I think I gave you evidence from one of the security cameras.
Indeed, here it is. Wow! What a scandal.
Yes. I am pressing charges against the two cops. This incident has caused most of the town's population to demand that the mayor, the father of the police chief, resign and that all but one of the cops in the town be fired. A protest march against the mayor is being organized for next weekend.